Malaysia ringgits are getting weaker against the Singapore dollars, so will we eventually see a 1:4 this year? Watch on, because after knowing this, you can draw your own conclusion. So, in recent months, you have seen headlines like Singapore dollar hits all-time high against ringgits again and again. It got so repetitive that we don't even know what is the all-time high and just wait for it to reach 4. Then recently, we have read that the ringgit hit a 26-year low against the US dollars, which was why I immediately used the Singapore dollar to buy US dollar, and then use US dollars to buy ringgits cause that means it will be a 58-year high plus 26-year high leh. But now that money changer guy told me it's not how that works. Luckily, because of that, I go take an econs degree, so let me explain to you what the heck is going on because once you know everything will make sense. You see, before anything, you need to know something about snail. It sounds like a rapper's name, but it's actually a policy. Now, I'm going to simplify it until a 5-year-old can understand. So if you still don't understand, that means you're 4 years old. Basically, there are 3 main ways to keep our currency strong and economy healthy. One is the exchange rate policy, and the other is the interest rate policy. You see, for interest rate policy, you say got 3 ways. What is the third way? Bodo, look around you Swift economists. Okay, so for interest rate policy, the country kind of control the currency domestically to prevent it from getting out of hand internally by increasing or decreasing interest rate. This will influence how people spend their money, so it can help to fight inflation or whatnot. This is why you see like in the US, people will go gaga when they heard about interest rate. While in Singapore, we don't even give a damn about Pinterest. Then the other way is exchange rate policy, which is what Singapore use. We call it Sapakaku, also known as the Singapore dollar normal guide for. Now, for this, the country kind of control the strength of the currency by controlling the exchange rate. You see, imagine this, the US decides to vote Donald Duck instead of Donald Trump for president. And this means the Singapore dollar is going to go crazy against the US dollar, right? No. Because Singapore depends a lot on trade, we have a system to ensure that the exchange rate of certain currencies won't go haywire. If it starts to hit a mark, the Singapore Central Bank will buy or sell the currency a lot, making it back to normal. Just think of the Singapore dollars as having super strict parents, while other countries' dollars have those free speech for everyone, freedom for the world parents. Usually, countries that depend a lot on trade use the exchange rate policy. Now, why do I explain this here? Simple. There are a few reasons why ringgits have become so weak, and one of the reasons is that the US dollars have become stronger, and Malaysia trades a lot with China, which hasn't become stronger. So basically, because they are not using the exchange rate policy, the strength of their currency is kind of going haywire. If we have used the interest rate policy, the Singapore dollars might get weaker too. Still confused. Bodo, just think that Singapore is doing intermittent fasting whereby can only eat in 8 hours a day, while Malaysia is normal eating and now because we got only junk food, so Singapore got lucky cause we got only 8 hours to eat instead of 24 hours to eat You smart, Now, one thing about economics is that simplifying it won't do it justice. As usually, many factors come into play. So this is really overly simplified. If you want to know more, you might want to watch a course instead. Just know that now, whether we will be seeing 1:4 depends more on US and China and not about Singapore actually. In the meantime, if you think you learned something, consider subscribing and also watch this video to be slightly smarter.